She's also the right age. Larsa, again, from someone that deals with the media and the press, no one cares about Miami. No one cares about Salt Lake. But when you're dealing with the real press, People Magazine and this and that, Larsa gets real press. Outside of the show, I don't care if you love her. I don't care if you hate her. Larsa is bigger than the show in the sense that she does draw. She does for Miami what Candy did for Atlanta. And Larsa is not going to be going anywhere. And by default, Alexia, I feel, is really nothing against her. She was on this show. I feel it's her time. She will greatly disagree with that. If you listen to interviews she does, she said it's her show. She'll go when it's time. I could be wrong. I think Alexia is going. I think we have. The thing is, it's like a reboot. Speaking of the 90s, when they reboot 90210 and they have Shannon Doherty and Jenny Garth and all the originals there for season 1 to sprinkle in with the new kids. By season 2, you never saw these people because we knew the new people. It's the same thing. We absolutely needed Alexia, Larsa, all these people to bring it back. Now Miami has a life of its own. Gertie and Nicole. And I know for a fact from multiple reliable sources, that they are trying to cast the show around the extremely uber wealthy, young, skinny, on brand Nicole. These are not my definitions of on brand. I actually think Housewives gave a voice to women in their 50s and 60s, and I love that because that wasn't being represented on TV. The network doesn't seem to think so. So Nicole is the future of Miami. Love her or hate her. I know for a fact they're looking for real friends of hers. Nicole, I give you advice. I would not take any, do not take any of your real friends. I mean life friends, high school, college, people that were there when your father passed. If you have a real friend, Nicole, and you think you're going to bring them on this show, good luck. Okay? You got to find your throwaway friends, girl, that you also don't care. And I would never recommend a friend because they ain't going to be friends with them anymore. So Miami has a problem because for that number of viewers, it's too top heavy. So they're saying we're going to start at the end of the summer. Probably Miami will come back, but are we sure? I don't know. I'm not sure. And when we say end of summer, doesn't that mean like September, October? So we'll have another thing. See, they made a mistake with Dubai and Jersey because that was the middle of the beginning. That was like the beginning of the end. We filmed Jersey and now we've held it for a gazillion months, and we filmed Dubai and held it for like a year. So they got smart that filming these things and putting them out right away isn't working. So now they've slowed it down because that's at least better than filming something that happened 2 years ago. So they're drawing Miami out. New York, I heard for months and months, I knew from a reliable source, they were bringing back the whole cast. I never said they weren't bringing back the whole cast. I kept saying, where is New York? The fact that the whole cast is back and it's all the same people, that is more alarming to me than Atlanta being off for 7 months. It's more alarming than Miami's pause. It's more alarming than the Potomac pause that we're about to have. You brought back every single person. And by the way, I heard for months you were bringing back all the right people. Some grumblings, Jenna, some grumblings about Sai. I knew everyone was coming back, and now they're all back. So that is even more alarming. You knew you were bringing back all the same people, and you just delayed it. When did New York go off the air? 4 months ago? You just sat around to slow the process down. We're slowing the process down for a few reasons, because the ratings on all these shows has slipped, and because we have nothing else, and because I think they realize we put all our eggs in one executive producer's basket and one franchise's basket. I mean, the difference is you fire Chris Harrison and he gets his $25 million, and he's such a vital part of The Bachelor, Bachelor Nation, Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelorette. He's part of 3 huge shows for ABC, and ABC has a gazillion other shows. That's the difference. You fire Matt Lauer and the morning news goes on. We fire Lisa Vanderpump or she quits, whatever the fuck. She didn't show up for the reunion. The show goes on. Bethany Frankel off New York. The show went on. And the show goes on. Stassi's gone on. The show goes on. You got a problem with Andy. The show doesn't really go on when it's one executive producer. We'll get into that in a second. I'm not coming for him, but I think they also realize that it's too much power in one person's hand. That's my honest opinion. That is my honest opinion. So I think they're slowing down Housewives because they realize that. And we have all these lawsuits and we have nothing else. And we have to figure out where are other shows coming from. Again, New York coming back, fighting about Catch. And New York was a success because it's more of a success than Miami. I know you all like Miami better, but the cost of New York is way lower. New York toppled over. Everyone says New York toppled over because of my friend Ebony K. Williams and Leah McSwiney, that they ruined RHONY. RHONY toppled over because Luann, Dorinda, Sonia, and Ramona made $1 trillion. And the ratings during the COVID season were not good. So you have $4 million in salaries. How is that going to be sustainable? And I think they went through all their scenarios of how they can reboot it, and no one was going to work okay with the old regime. That's why New York toppled over. If I'm convinced that if you had season 13 with McSwiney and my friend Emily Williams, and you had Luann and 3 other people besides Luann that made $60,000, I don't even know if it would have been rebooted, to be honest with you. I mean, because the salaries would have been so much less. That was a heavy show. So you can all say what you want about the ratings on the reboot in New York. Did I love it? Not really. Do I think it was a success? Dollars for the amount they absolutely. Way more than Miami, way more than Atlanta, way more than Potomac. Potomac is getting up there too. The Grand Dom, Giselle, Ashley, Rob. We have OGs there, guys. It's getting up there. So I think that's why we're delaying all this. What else can I tell you about? Potomac has backed themselves into a wall. We already talked about that, like Dorinda and Rinna style. They're slowing down. There's nothing else. You know, we have other things going below deck. We have multiple franchises. I think Married to Medicine is probably the winner of the whole thing because Married to Medicine has higher ratings than at least half the Housewife. I think maybe 3/4 the Housewife series. So Married to Medicine is considered doing